Alrighty, we're live. Let's see if I can spam through some pages in this to see if I can't get. There we go. Okay, apparently that's what it takes. I just need to go through a bunch of the pages to get things to load. But we're back in Katawa Shoujo to continue with our third route, which is Lilly's. Last stream we ended up accidentally on Kenji's route. In my insistence on I'm just gonna go blindly for it. And yeah, that was not it. That didn't quite pan out the way I thought it would. But then we did get on to Lily's route successfully. So yeah, today's stream might be a bit shorter again because I need to leave kind of sharpish. But I hope to get through a good few chapters, especially without spending an hour going down the wrong route. So, £1 sterling. I have one of those about somewhere. I need a pound coin for trolleys at the supermarket. Alrighty. So, let's get into it, shall we? I'm quite interested to see how this is going to go down. So far, I'm already getting the vibes that this is. Oh, good morning, my little moon ninja. How are you doing? I'm glad that you got the voice message. Yeah, so already on Lily's route, I've kind of been getting the. I'm trying to think of the right word to use it. It's not like I don't think there won't be. Forgot about the moon ninja thing. Well, I didn't. I don't know why that stuck out to me in my brain. Oh, yep, you're a little ninja sneaking into my heart. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, it's not like I don't think there's going to be any drama or stuff in Lily's route, but so far, just the general vibe of things feels more cozy than Emmy and Rin's did. So I'm quite interested to see what kind of different vibe we get from it. Oh yeah, also didn't say I've got a new chair now to stream in, which is notably more comfortable. And the arms aren't falling apart on it. But yeah, let's actually get to reading. New chair. It's we got a donation at the store from I think it was a local electrical company was refurbishing. So they donated all their old office furniture to us, which included something like 30 to 40 office chairs. And these are I feel these are the good chairs to get a hold of. Because, they're the ones that are designed for people to be sitting in for hours on end. And they don't have all the fancy accessories and brand name tags to make actual gaming chairs so ludicrously expensive. It's an ergonomic. Yep, it is pretty nice, and this one is I think it's newer than my old one, because my old one as well. I was starting to notice all this stuffing in the actual seat was getting worn down, and it was kind of a bit sore on my bum if I was sitting down for too long on it. But this one is nice and plush. So, where were we? This was just the second day. We had started the route. Okay, we just had. Oh yeah, we just had our first lunch when they were playing. Yeah, Lily and Hanako were playing chess, right? And then Lily had our felt Hisao's face, and we forgot to eat. Which, you know, is not definitely something I can't relate to. Alright. Saturday. My second most favourite day of the week. This is almost entirely due to the fact that it is the day with the second least amount of school, with class ending at the beginning of lunch. I open my door confidently, myself being more than confident of being able to get enjoyment out of the fine weather and shorter class length. Getting to eat because you get distracted by a girl. That hasn't happened yet. I think mostly because the girl who is most likely to distract me is also one of the people most likely to make sure I don't forget. I confidently stride down the hallway and down the stairs to the lobby of the male dorms. Oh, I don't think we've been down the lobby for... I can't actually remember the lobby. Fair enough. Yep. You and Blue nag me enough that I'm getting better at not forgetting to eat. I confidently look behind me to see whose footsteps are approaching. I lose my confidence in this stage being enjoyable. Oh boy. Oh, never. I was wondering if, like, is it someone, like, from his old school or something? Hey man, sup? Not much, I guess. Just looking forward to the afternoon. You? He wraps an arm around my slumped shoulders far too comfortably. Something's up. Let's step outside, shall we? I was just about to before you stopped me. He doesn't take my reaction to his theatrics well. Ignoring him, I walk outside and start down the steps. It doesn't take too long for him to catch up with me again. I wonder if he wants money or to rant about another conspiracy. Maybe both. I've got a bone to pick with you. Uh-huh. It's about that blonde. You know who I'm talking about. Conspiracy it is. For a moment I contemplate feigning ignorance, but realize this will go quicker if I just let him get it all out. Lilly? The one from your class? You're on first-name terms with her? He looks positively shocked at this development. Did he not expect me to be able to answer? He gathers himself and coughs into his fist, dramatically, like everything he does. Well, never mind that. I'm here to warn you. You know, man to man. Warn me about what? Lilly? Yeah. You don't know her, man. It's mostly true. I've only known her and Hanako for less than 2 weeks, and even then we've just been exchanging banal chatter about school as we while away lunch. I'm pretty sure you don't either. That's not the point. You're the one spending inordinate amounts of time with her. It distresses me that someone like Kenji, who's probably as far out of the loop as one could possibly get, knows such a trivial fact as who I choose to befriend. Then again, I am a transfer student, and she's not only the representative of their class, but also a tall blonde. Maybe I should appreciate this ranting as a warning that the rumor mill exists in this school, and I'm firmly within it. It's just lunch, nothing special. Look, man, under the bridge. See this bridge? You're under it. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do to get intel. I just want to make sure you don't end up too far under the bridge. You're losing me, Kenji. That's okay. Lots of people get lost. That's why I'm here to help. Just be careful around her, okay? She looks all harmless on the outside, but I've heard shit. Bad shit. You know the student council, right? He seems to involuntarily shudder as he says the words. Putting him and Shizune together in a room is an amusing mental exercise. I wonder if they've met. Yeah, Shizune and Amisha are in my class. I seem to have dodged a draft, though. Good man, good man. But this blonde, she was there. In the student council. Right damn there. Oh. Is this where some more of the rivalry between Shizune and Lilly comes from? Or is there some conflict over policy? I see. And she's not there now. Seriously, think about it. Something must have gone down. I stopped walking for a moment, giving the idea more thought than I probably should. It would explain that fight the two had, at least in part. Wait, no, not really. Even leaving the student council, we need a catalyst. In the end, it doesn't explain much at all, other than the fact that their feud goes back some ways. I guess you have a point. I'm not seeing how that really affects me, though. Okay, now feel this one. Lilly's foreign, obviously. Obviously. Now, what nationality is she? I opened my mouth to give the answer, but realized that I have none. In fact, I've given the matter very little thought. Given that she has no accent and acts perfectly Japanese, I suppose it never really seemed important. Now that he mentions it, though, I am rather curious. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe English? They like tea. As someone who lives in Britain, I cannot deny that. Despite being someone who doesn't like tea, I am well aware of how often my family members drink it. I probably shouldn't resort to stereotypes, but that's the only lead I have. You're not thinking. Luckily, you have me here to think for you. Gee, thanks. He brushes off the quip effortlessly. Isn't completely right, but he's on the right track. Yeah, what? I'm trying to remember, like, isn't Lily's surname Japanese? I kind of assumed she was half. Or maybe I'm, like, I've completely forgotten. Because Lily's surname hasn't been brought up. To be fair, most surname... Well, in Emmy we got Ibarazaki quite a lot because we always referred to... Could be Japanized to fit in. That is a possibility as well. But I'm just trying to... I'm trying to remember Lily's surname. I know Emmy, I learned Ibarazaki because we met her mum, who we always referred to as Mrs. Ibarazaki. And then I remember Tezuka being Rin's surname because that's how, like, Nomiya was quite a big character there and he always referred to her as Tezuka. Sato, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think there's definitely someone whose surname is Sato. Now, answer me this. Who has lots of social power, is filthy stinking rich? You know blondes are all rich, right? No? That's not how hair works, Kenji? Has a long history of disputes and used to belong to a much larger organization. The Roman Catholic Church? Well, okay, there's that. But there's also the Mafia. Come on, rich, foreign, there's no way she doesn't have connections to them. That's just a little bit of a stretch, Kenji, I think. I have reason to doubt the logic of his deductions, but he shows no sign of stopping. So, do you know where I think she's from? Italy? Mainland Italy's small time, dude. She has to be from Sicily. All those mafioso types come from there. Wait, no, Russia. Yeah, this could be bad. The mafia there is serious business, man. Ex-KGB everywhere. Paramilitaries, hardcore smuggling, and... Wait, stop. Just slow down a sec. What point are you trying to get at here? You don't know what you'll do, man. I won't get in your way. Agents don't operate like that, but I just want you to be careful. When the time comes, we'll need all the help we can get. I don't want to lose you, comrade. Well, at least he's concerned for me. Kinda. I wave goodbye to him as we separate out to our respective classes, but I'm not sure that he sees the gesture. Piling my books into my bag, I catch a glimpse of the library books I'd borrowed last week. I might as well return them, considering it took all of 2 days to finish. For a reason, I think her name was slightly older, because you're reminded of a manga you read? Uh, I mean, Sato doesn't like. Her last name was Marker. Well, the thing I know Sato is like it's a Japanese name I have heard a few times. Like that would be a genuine surname. So it didn't strike me at all as being like originally. I can't think of an English term that would. I suppose if maybe yeah we haven't confirmed that she is English or American. Yeah, I can't think of any word that would be based off. I briefly consider inviting Hanako along to the library, but she's already gone. It'll probably be better for my studying if I'm alone anyway. With a quick stretch and a wave to a couple of classmates who give the same to me, I make my way out of the classroom. As I open my bag and shove the books through the return slot in the front counter, I notice a strange person behind the desk. Old and grey, she must be Yuko's replacement when she's working at the cafe. I begin looking for a free table, a task made somewhat difficult considering that, despite there not being many students in here, they're all sitting at their own tables. Noticing a familiar head of hair, I walk over to one near the braille section. It's hard to tell whether Lily's concentrating hard or not, her placid expression holding perfectly still as her finger slides across the dot-filled pages of her book. Hi, mind if I sit here? Oh, no problem at all. She trails off, evidently still focused on her business at hand. Ah, Ihisao. She gives a nod of greeting as I sit opposite her at the table. I pluck a chemistry textbook out of my bag and quickly thumb to the chapter we're covering in class. For a while, we sit there and read, each in our own way. Seeing her reminds me of what Kenji said this morning, though. That and the fact that I've never seen someone read in Braille before makes me keep throwing glances at her. I kind of feel guilty about it, given that she has no way to realize what I'm doing, so I decide to just ask her about it. Her lineage isn't exactly a state secret after all, and there is another thing I've only just noticed from her movement. Probably how she and Hanako bonded, reading books together. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Oh. No, quite possibly part of. Oh. I suppose it is. Things like their little tea time and like chess games seem to be a big thing as well. Like I suppose probably the biggest reason is just like being neighbors. Yeah, and I think we found out, yeah, when we met Lilly going down to the shops during that scene where we find Rin wandering around town, that like even like their shopping and such they tend to do together most of the time. Hey, Lilly, mind if I ask a question? Not at all. Is anything wrong? I was just wondering, you're at least part foreign, right? She gives a small giggle before setting down her book. I've always been amused at how squeamish people are about that. Akira's mentioned how much she and I look different from most others before. The details are a bit complicated, but I'm half Japanese, half Scottish. Scottish? That was not exactly my first guess. It takes some effort not blurt it out loud. I try to conjure images of the place in my mind. I think as far as the UK goes, Scotland isn't bad to live in, but I'm not really sure. Like girls and their respective BFFs live next week. Oh, is that the same for Misha and Shizune? Are they neighbours as well? because I know it was mentioned it was deliberate for Rin and Emmy to be like they were deliberately put next to each other. I think Emmy brought it up that kind of they were put together because like the staff thought that a girl with no arms and a girl with no legs, they'll get along and be able to, help support each other. I haven't actually been to Scotland. Like, I haven't done all that much in Scotland. I've been there a few times, but quite often it's just we land in Scotland, we maybe see a castle or two, and then went down to England when we were everywhere on holiday. I know it definitely gets colder in Scotland, and there's a lot more mountains and such as you go further up north. My first guess of England was surprisingly close, at least geographically. That does leave another question, though. But you have no accent. Okay. I kind of imagining now, like, if Lily, like, did have... To be fair, what would Japanese sound like with a Scottish accent? Like, I've heard To be fair, I've not... When it comes to hearing, like, Japanese in a foreign accent, I've only heard it in, like, a typical American accent. Yeah, I can't think of any time I've heard someone like speak fluently in Japanese with like a Scottish accent or a French accent. That's where the details begin. I was born and raised in Japan, despite my mother being foreign. Okay, that does imply then that her father is Japanese? Ah, I get it. Hold on. If she moved to the dorms simply due to Akira's working longer hours, would she have a German accent in first class? I don't think that's a German accent. I think that's just kind of like German words kind of dropped in. Like it didn't. Might be the dub. Oh yeah, that might be fair. It might be the dub. But yeah, that's the thing. I've heard plenty of accents in English. So they don't live near the school? She gives a small sigh as if she didn't expect me to go any deeper. Was her previous frankness just a front? Not exactly. It's been a long time since we've actually met. I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, but I don't really want to go unduly prying into her situation. Her about face shows she feels kind of awkward about it. So, do you speak much English? To be honest, I don't know that much about Scotland, but at least I know that's the main language there. It takes her a moment to collect herself, appreciating the change in topic. That's right. My family mostly used Japanese around the house when I was young, but they made sure Akira and I knew our Scottish side just as well. I'm fluent in the language, but I'm also studying it in school, to keep my skills up and to have the qualifications on paper mainly. So you're bilingual. That's pretty impressive. I wouldn't go that far. Having parents who can speak the language is a large advantage, and English books in Braille aren't too hard to buy or import, with Yugo's help at least. There's a relatively high demand for local English teachers here anyway, which also helps me give some motivation to learn it well. That, as far as I know, is, like, true. Like, Yeah, there is like demand in Japan for like native speaking English teachers. No, because yeah, as far as I know, it's like, if I recall correctly, like it is a compulsory subject in, well, at least high school level in Japan. But you know, there's a lot more schools than there are English teachers who are like native, like have native fluency level. Demand for English teachers? For a moment, I wonder why she brought this up. You're planning to be an English teacher? She gives an enthusiastic nod. It must be nice having such a definite future in mind. I've never really given much thought to mine, so I'm kind of envious. What's wrong? It's just, I could see you as a teacher pretty easily. It suits you. For a moment, she's speechless. She lowers her face a little and lets out a nervous giggle, something I've never seen her do before. With Lily's role as a class representative and her dependable nature, teaching does seem to be a line of work fitting her personality. Sorry, that was probably a little much. It is true, though. Waving her hand in front of her face dismissively, she quickly recovers. It's not that, it's just that only one person's ever said that to me before. A short, somewhat awkward silence follows the discussion. Without knowing it, I ended up staring into a troublesome topic again. I should try to cheer her up a little. It was me who went and got her brooding, after all. Want to go grab lunch at the cafeteria after this? It might perk her up a bit, or at least take her mind off her apparently complicated family situation. So this is kind of like reinforcing the idea as well I got from the intro cutscene for Lily's story, that family was probably going to be a big part of hers. I need to practice just... Oh. I need to find time to like put like actual language practice in as well. Going by her smile, it seems to have the intended effect. I appreciate the thought, but the food there... Quite a quick redirect of the conversation. She does have a point, though. The food there isn't the greatest. Maybe the Shanghai? We could ask Hanako if she wants to come as well. Ah. What is it? I almost forgot until you reminded me. Hanako's birthday is coming up soon, and I was going to go shopping in the city for a present tomorrow. If that's an invitation, I'd be happy to accompany you. The ability to get more used to the layout of the city would probably be a good thing. I have barely set foot in there, so I'd be hopelessly lost by myself. She gives a nod, signaling that she happily approves of this plan for Sunday. We eventually get back to our books, though before I begin reading again, I steal one last glance at her. Maybe I've been thinking on my situation too much. After all, everybody here would have their own unique circumstances. The chance to get outside and clear my head will probably do me good. Hanako's birthday. Are we getting a little birthday party? Bored of standing in place and watching the television in a shop window, I pull myself away from the taggy display with little effort. After living at Yamaku, the city seems like an entirely different world. No running into halls, calm and orderly conduct is to be used at all times in the classroom, students at exit rooms after checking both directions for oncomers, elevators are reserved for movement-impaired students, single file on stairs. Compared to such strict, almost regimental standards, the city's shopping arcade might as well be a strange country. While the school may have its fair share of hustle and bustle during the festival, the outside world is much different. It's strange. Having lived in a metropolitan city before my accident, this should feel more natural than Yamaku and the surrounding town ever could. Yet it feels foreign somehow. The elevated walkways and tall buildings, each adorned with billboards taller than any free people, don't do anything to distract me from the passing crowd's reactions. Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, the other holding her cane, which taps the ground with a metronome-like steadiness. Looking over to her, that neutral smile of hers still holds. Having only seen her in her school uniform, I'd not have recognized her as she sat on a bench waiting for me to come, if not for her cane propped up against it and her distinctive hair. Excuse me. I can't tell whether they're glancing at her due to her height, her foreign looks, her obvious blindness, or all three. Not that any of those would make the situation any less uncomfortable than it is. Do you have any ideas of where to look first, Hisao? Her soft voice breaks me out of my line of thought. I can't imagine that she's failing to notice the attention she garners, but she seems unfazed by it. I get the feeling she's the type to enjoy walking outside, so she might be used to it by now. I feel Lily would know how to go better than Hisao would. Not really. This is my first time in this city, so I've got no idea where to go. She furrows her brow in thought, planning a route for us to take. And, come to think of it, a way to communicate it. Something I've noticed in the time I've been with her is how, when deep in thought, she lacks close to any form of body language to show it. Her expression may change, but not a hint of movement shows. She seems to have little in the way of sweeping physical gestures in general, though, so I've assumed it's part of her reserved nature. Is there a large electronics store near here? I take a quick look around, mostly finding clothing stores. After a few seconds, I notice a store with a bright blue sign some distance away that fits her description. Yep, it's just a bit ahead of us. Should we go in that direction? Thankfully, it's just the information she needed. With a nod, we start off and head towards Lily's unknown destination, landmarks being our guide. Here you go, 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate. I hand the money over the counter and take the cones to the railing that Lily's sitting on. Can't believe I let her trick me like this. She not only led me to an ice cream stall, but also got me to buy her some. At least she gave me the money for hers. Are you really getting salty over someone just asking you to buy them some ice cream, Hisao? Sure enough, she's patiently waiting where I'd left her. I guess she was planning on making today an event rather than a simple shopping trip. I call out to her and slowly place the vanilla cone in her outstretched hand, being careful to make sure she has a good hold of it before letting go. At least her tastes are fairly normal. I was worried she'd ask for some weird flavor when she first asked. Here's the change. It's okay. Keep it. I moved to protest, but realized the futility of doing so over such a small amount. I slipped the coin into my pocket, supplementing my meager allowance ever so slightly. Lily shows no signs of wanting to get up, so I take a seat beside her and start eating my own ice cream. Summer weather's nice. Hopefully it'll hold out for a while. You too? I'm beginning to think I'm the only person who prefers winter. I contemplate her statement for a long moment. Yeah, I think you might be. It draws the intended reaction. She's cute when she's pouting. Still, I can't really imagine what's so good about winter. You can't go out without bundling up and you still freeze anyway. Summer's worse in that regard, because you can't go out without stripping off and there's only so much you can. At least if you're in winter, you can always bundle up a bit more. And I don't know, like settling down in bed's always much more comfortable in winter when it's cold. Feels nice and snug and cozy. But now if you try and, settle down for bed in the middle of summer, it's, I don't know, stuffy and oppressive. I'm not big on, midwinter, when it starts getting snowy and icy, but kind of early spring, late fall, that's the parts of the year I'm most comfortable in. I used to live further north, where there'd be plenty of snow to play in, so it's a little nostalgic. I don't like the heat very much either. Yeah, I suppose from what I know about, I don't know if she's like referring to like being as far north as Hokkaido, but yeah, Hokkaido, from what I understand, does get pretty cold. At least you can wear a skirt, so don't complain about that. Oh, good. Checking order. No worries, my dear. I'll be here waiting. Well, I don't think I can wait, but I'll be here. I don't think it would go well for the stream if I just sat here and didn't do anything until he got back. She gives an amused giggle as we both get back to finishing off our already melting cones. The cones are melting? It really is warm. I idly sit and watch the crowds going by as we eat, catching bits and pieces of conversation. Looking to Lily, I see her dutifully licking her ice cream from the top downwards, blissfully unaware of the fact that it's beginning to melt. It's melting. Where? Down a bit? She lowers her mouth from the top of the cone, but has no idea of exactly where the ice cream is dripping. What follows is a game of guiding her left and right until she finally finds it. To any onlooker, it must seem absolutely bizarre. A girl with her eyes closed turning her cone over and over as the guy next to her gives instructions. A strange variant of childhood blindfold games, maybe. In good time, we finally finish our treats, and while away the time conversing casually. Don't we still need to, like, get that present for Hanako? Caught mid-sentence, Lily perks her head in her trademark manner. It's an unmistakable sign that something's caught her attention. What is it? Is Akira somewhere over there? I think I heard her. I raise an eyebrow as I look in the direction she's facing, somewhat doubtful of her ability to pick out Akira's lone voice in the din. Sure enough though, a blonde girl in a suit can't be seen through the tiny gaps between people walking every which way. I raise a hand and wave, trying to catch her attention. Sato! Hey, Sato! She stops in her tracks and looks towards me, evidently noticing my calls. As she does, I notice someone walking beside her. I can't get a good look at whoever it is though before the two begin walking towards where we are. As they reach us, Lily and I stand and dust ourselves off. Akira? Hey, you two. Oh. That will look kind of glitchy in the background. She nods toward me, a gesture which I quickly return. My gaze shifts towards the young girl next to her, and our eyes meet. As they do, Akira plops a hand under her head, a move which doesn't seem to faze her. I don't believe we've met. I'm Hideaki. Pleased to meet you, Hisao. A guy's name, huh? Guess I just dodged a bullet there. He bows, somewhat restrained by Akira's hand being on his head. Oh, Hideaki's here too? Are you well? Akira's been taking very good care of me. Thank you. Akira grins as if to affirm the point and rubs his head hard, dragging it around in a circular motion. His dreary face during this is somewhat amusing. Uncle's out on business again, so I'm just taking around town for today. I'd have preferred to be spending the day on a date with my boyfriend, but... Hideaki gives a cough to try and redirect Akira's thoughts. As he does, though, I find mine wondering. They're related? And further, as first cousins? I suppose that explains why she's taking care of him in any case. Come to think of it, Hideaki, how do you know my name? Akira told me. Being a Yamaku student, I suppose you're disabled in some way? Not everyone in Yamaku's disabled. which I only learned a handful of days ago. I give silent thanks to Shizune and Misha for their stream of information about how the school works. Because of them, I found out that since the school will accept practically anybody suffering from non-mental disabilities, it doesn't discriminate against healthy people either. It seems unlikely that many in good health would enroll there, though. While the standard of education is pretty high, it's extremely isolated and very much focused on helping disabled students. You're dodging the question. Damn, he's sharp. Before I can say another word, though, he decides to take a stab at him himself. If I were to call it myself... your heart? Akira looks mildly curiously at me. Her interest peaked as well. That sure was a lucky guess. How did you... You show no missing limbs or deformities, so external disabilities are out. Considering the lack of any strange mannerisms, it's also unlikely you'd have any mental disability. But Yamaku doesn't take mentally disabled students. I know. Even that aside, the only impossibility left is that of internal disabilities. I didn't know which one you might bear, so I guessed. Correctly as it turns out. And your reaction confirmed my guess. More than a little bemused, I look to Akira. She grins and shrugs, obviously taking some enjoyment out of her partner's deductions. He's sharp, yes, but more than a little unsympathetic. Logical, but lacking in tact. His attitude reminds me of Shizune, in a way. As to his looks. May I ask why you're... Oh, sorry, that's... Hideaki, not Hizo. May I ask why you're staring at me? Surely I'm not that unusual a specimen. Does he not know how unusual he looks? I could overlook the spats and clothing as just being coincidental, but the ribbon in his hair really is too much. This is entirely beside the point, though. Sorry, you just remind me of someone. Akira gives him a sharp jab of her elbow. Told you you're not that much different from her. Hold on. What? Is, like, Hideaki actually related to... Oh boy. Okay, now I'm understanding kind of where a deeper rivalry might come between Lilly and Shizune if they're, like, related somehow. Or is this just a misunderstanding? Oh, never mind. I'm just about to get cleared up. I see you've met my sister then. Perhaps my full name might help you. I am Hideaki Hakamichi. You're probably thinking of my sister, Shizune Hakamichi. Oh, so he's Shizune's brother? Wait a minute. If Hideaki is the son of Akira's uncle and Shizune is his sister, then that means Lilly and Shizune's fathers are brothers-in-law. Therefore, Lilly and Shizune are first cousins? Lilly doesn't look at me. Lilly groans in an uncharacteristically unrestrained manner. The reaction earns us an amused smirk from her sister. The enmity between the two just took on another meaning. I had thought it simply a matter of difficulty of communication between the two, but a family feud makes things much more complicated. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. She gives a half-hearted shrug. You mustn't give as much weight to the two's conflict as I do. Well, that's how it is. What are you two up to anyway on this fine day? We're shopping for Hanako's birthday present. The day will be coming up soon, so this is the last chance we'll have before school starts again for the week. Akira makes a strange face, as if Lilly had just said that the sky wasn't blue and the clouds not white. Isn't her birthday on the 10th next month? Yes. Why? Is something wrong? Akira's face seems to collapse. It's an utterly unbefitting expression for someone so rowdy and headstrong. Folks didn't call you yet? As Lily shakes her head cluelessly, I look at Hideaki to see if he knows anything about this. A simple shrug is his only answer. For a moment, Akira ponders what to do before smiling once again. The fact that she can hide her emotions so quickly and effectively is unsettling. Okay, is this like her family or visiting or something on the tent? And this is kind of like... There's two ways I see this drama being. One that kind of... I suppose like the less serious one is like kind of just that Lily is kind of like given the choice between kind of, oh, do you go and like spend time with your family or, you know, make sure you're there for Hanako's birthday party? Or the more depressing option is that I don't know what... Yeah, Lily's been a little hesitant to talk too much about her parents. And I'm kind of wondering like if there's... Like, Akira's clearly been told. But, like, if there's a deliberate reason why it's kind of like they haven't mentioned anything to Lily. I'm going to be back in a moment. Just need to grab something quick. There we go. That'll be better. Alrighty. Where were we? Oh. He nods and waves her off. Akira places an arm on Lily's shoulder as she guides her away and out of earshot. And so, I'm alone with Shorty. So, nice weather, isn't it? It seems so. I guess they dumped us. Indeed. What a farcical attempt at small talk. But no idea of how to talk to this guy, and his robotic responses aren't helping. Blood and a stone come to mind. Without another word, he begins to rock on his feet in an obvious gesture of boredom with this discussion. He really is like a little kid, despite his serious demeanor. Suspecting the conversation over, I decide to accomplish what I came here to do in the first place. I'm going to go search for a present. Coming? How about whoever's... Yeah, that's like the conversation you bring up when you don't have anything else to say. Not much else to do. In a little while, we come to a small shop beside a convenience store. For once, the store windows aren't filled with electronics and computer games, but dolls, stuffed bears, and all manners of wood-crafted oddities. Othello's Antiques? An antique store? Well, if there's anything in this town that'd suit Hanako, I guess it'd be here. I reach for the old-looking door handle, but pull back at the last minute as I realize my companion's gone adrift. Not coming in? I'll just be in the newsstand for a while. Don't mind me. His voice makes it painfully clear he has zero interest in what's in the store, and that he doesn't feel obligated to follow me. As he wanders off without another word, I push the thick wooden door and enter the store, a bell above me ringing out. The musty smell of old books and wooden shelves is distinctly anachronistic. I look to the counter beside the door. The greying man behind it sits there silently, reading a tattered book. He certainly fits the look of the place. Slowly wandering through the aisles, the person I'm reminded of as I inspect each handcrafted or imported oddity in turn isn't Hanako. Crouching down, I examine the ancient oak desk inside the shop window. At least 30 dolls, all varying wildly in size and make. The only similarity between them is the long Victorian dresses they wear. I turn the price tag of one that looks to be about waist height. It's not in my price bracket. At all. I do the same to each of them, getting more and more depressed as they get smaller and smaller in size. That is, until I reach the very smallest one. It's affordable. Just, yet of quality make and with long auburn hair and a little blue dress. I decide that it's the kind of present Hanako would appreciate. Pretty looking and far from gaudy. Is it? I don't know. It's hard to tell with Hanako. So far, like, what we know her interests are is books and chess. And to be fair, I don't think we've been paying too much attention to what kind of book she's reading. After I carefully pick it up, I decide to keep looking around the store. I'm not sure whether it's because I like the atmosphere or out of simple curiosity. Peeking around a corner before I go to the next aisle, I see that the shelves in this one are stocked with wooden toys, from toy cars to intricate automatons. Tucked behind a line of nutcrackers, I notice a little plain wooden box. It feels surprisingly light as I pick it up with my free hand. Oh. The lid only needs the smallest movement to pop open, the little metal drum inside beginning to rotate immediately. For seconds on end, I simply stand there listening to the palm-sized melody. As it plays, I take the tiny price tag in my fingers and bring it up to my face. The minuscule cursive writing takes some effort to read. It's affordable. Sort of. Grimacing slightly, I close the lid and make my way to the counter with doll and music box in hand. When I lay the two down on the counter, the man behind it sits up and takes stock of them. He doesn't hide very well his surprise at someone of my age buying them. It's painful, but I hand over the money for the two and leave the store for a small opaque bag in hand. A bit more up. Yeah, I'd imagine you'd probably learn about Hanako in her own route. Hideaki being there takes me by surprise. Also, for the man not having, like, even a voice line there, having a portrait feels odd. Unless, like, he does, but he ends up being a... Unless he ends up becoming a repeat character. Oh, hi. I thought you'd be at the newsstand. Akira gave me a call. She's waiting for us at the fountain with Lilly. At least that solves the issue of trying to find him again. We head off back to the fountain. Hideaki's immaculate posture and presentation, despite his appearance, makes for a strange contrast even as we walk. Lilly and Akira stand there waiting for us, their faces hard to read. He has a bigger role in Shizune's route? Oh, okay. Hey, you ready to go, shorty? Hideaki's mood seems to improve as he rejoins her. See ya, Lilly, Issa. Tell Hanako I said happy birthday. We will. Bye. Goodbye, Akira. And with that, the two disappear into the fracas of the afternoon city crowd. And turning to Lilly, I notice she's carrying a small bag. It's now that I realize why her disposition felt different from before. While Lily's typically the type to wear her emotions on her sleeve, her expression and tone are clouded and difficult to read. It's more than a little off-putting, but given the effort she's making to hide her emotions, I doubt she wants to be cornered on why she's feeling this way. Hisao, why could you not be this perceptive about... Why could you not be this perceptive with Rin? Oh. Hello. Thank you for the follow, Ash420. How are you doing today? Already brought Hanako a present? Yes. Have you? Yeah. Shall we head back to the bus stop then? Okay. There should be a bus back to Yamaku pretty soon. And with that, we begin to walk. It feels strange compared to before. Lily's hand on my forearm feels unusually tense, and the whole atmosphere is extraordinarily awkward. He's always a bit different. I'm aware he's different, but it's, in a way that almost makes me more annoyed that Like here, he can tell, like, oh. Gamer said, so you can see the chat. Okay. Yeah, the chat should... Yeah, chat works on both Twitch and YouTube. Like, it should synchronize up. But I think most people do tend to watch on Twitch because apparently Twitch has better latency for me. Oh, but you're welcome to the stream. So, yeah, most of the reason I stream on YouTube is because YouTube saves my streams automatically. I have really bad focus, so remembering to like download my VODs from Twitch and upload them later never worked out for me. The silence continues for a long while. I really don't like seeing her like this. Hanako's birthday party is going to have to be held earlier. Is the 4th going to be alright for you? I have no other possible obligations anyway, so I reflexively nod. Only afterwards do I remember that doing so is pointless and quickly answer so by speech. She tries to collect herself, a task that looks almost pitiable in how plain it is to see how distant her thoughts are. Sorry, he's out. You said the bus would be coming soon, right? Can I watch things on Twitch? It's more like this. Oh, is perfectly fine. I have both options are there for people to use whatever they prefer to use. That's right. But now that she says that, I have an idea. Actually, do you have anything to do later today? I don't believe so. Why do you ask? This is the point where I'd normally take your hand and rush you somewhere, but even without that, you'll have to trust me, okay? I take her hand and gently lead her on, her distant face replaced by one of mild surprise and curiosity. As the waitress sets the cup of tea and cup of coffee that I'd ordered onto the table, I thank her before she takes her leave. Truth be told, I really lucked out in finding this cafe. I didn't really know where I was going, rather, I was just looking for any cafe that looked relatively nice. Having managed to recover a little, Lilly tentatively sips at her cup as I take a long gulp of the coffee in front of me. As I hoped, her face lights up as she realizes what flavor it is. Ah, this is wonderful. So, how did you know that this was... I'd asked for French vanilla black tea, hedging my bets that it would be her favorite flavor, or at least one she liked. While I don't really know much about tea, it sounded like one she might appreciate, on the basis of her liking vanilla ice cream. A tea connoisseur I am definitely not. It was a lucky guess. You really like tea, don't you? She puts her teacup down and gives a tiny nod, that familiar small smile thankfully perched on her face once again. Drinking tea is calming, I think. With the amount you drink, are you sure you're not addicted to it? Caffeine addiction is pretty common nowadays. Did I ever say I wasn't? She lets out a giggle as my head drops. We all have our vices, I suppose, and there are worse things to be addicted to. French vanilla black tea, huh? I'll have to remember that. For a while, we both silently drink. It's comforting to have someone like her nearby in such new surroundings, even if it's just the two of us sitting in silence. I begin to wonder if this feeling is the same for her, until she sets down her cup. So, do you mind if I ask you a slightly odd question? That depends on the question, I guess. I was wondering what your favorite color is. Everyone has one, after all. I almost reply before realizing why this seemingly mundane question is actually quite strange. My favorite color? But... She gives a pouting look, wanting me to answer anyway. While the answer seems unavoidably wasted on her, there isn't any harm in giving it. I've always had a thing for green. I'd say that's my favorite. Green, is it? What things do you think of when contemplating that color? I suppose grass fields and trees in summer, And the army as well, with camouflage. Japan doesn't have an army. It has a self-defense force, which is, like, different on a technicality, I think. I can't remember the exact, like, different restrictions. Men always seem to like the military. But that sounds like a nice color. A very nice color. She nods her head a little, as if approving of the choice. Considering how foreign the concept of color is to her mind, labeling it by association seems reasonable enough. If everyone has a favorite color, then what's yours? White. I'm told that's the color of snow, and of ice cream. You're no better than me then, if you only like that color because of a favorite food. I guess white is nice though too. And speaking of colors, it'll be getting dark soon. Let me help you up. Lilly offers her hand, which I take in mind to help lever her up from her seat at the table. Its softness compared to mine takes me off guard, as I'm really not used to such casual contact. It doesn't seem to bother her at all though. While it seems obvious why, it feels like just one more ladylike aspect to her. As her hand moves to her pocket, I quickly cut her off. Don't worry, I'll pay for this. Hisao is going to feel bad when he looks at his wallet later. Because he bought two things that he was saying, like... He mentioned the doll was, like... Just, like, the doll was, like, just within his price range. And then the Orgle was... Also, like just barely affordable. I'm assuming by comparison, like, one cup of tea and one cup of coffee isn't too much, but... No, because he said at the beginning as well, after buying the ice cream, that, you know, he only has, like, a meager allowance. Everything adds up. It does indeed. Oh, thank you, Hisao. She gives an earnest smile at the gesture, her reward much greater than that of her words. By the time we step off the bus, it's well and truly dark. We make our way up the hill in silence, both of us behaving a little awkwardly, probably because of today's events. Excuse me. While I'm still concerned over Lily's withdrawn nature after meeting with her sister, the fact I managed to cheer her up even slightly feels like a personal victory. This bothers me again, a little bit. Just with, like, I don't know, Hisao seems... I feel like he's more likable in Lily's already than in Rin's. I just remember, like, after the exhibition with Rin, like, when Rin was panicky and stressed, like, Hisao, like, just, kept bringing her up and making that a big deal. It didn't occur to him there that, oh, maybe I should, give Rin a distraction, take her mind off the stress. I don't know, he feels like he's much nicer and more considerate when it comes to Lilly already. But it feels like the air between us has changed. Maybe it's only a bit, but it's something I don't think either of us realized before. That was a date, wasn't it? It was. That doesn't elude either of us. The question's answer being so self-evident as to be rhetorical. Awkward as it may be, I don't think this feeling is bad. In fact, quite the opposite. I don't know what it is, I certainly can't be sure, but it feels like something a little more than friendship. Understanding? Empathy? Searching for words to adequately describe it is difficult. Nonetheless. Would you like to do this again sometime, Lilly? Without shopping for presents? The tentative question is met with the same look from Lilly as before. Her pale skin makes the rosy tint of her cheeks just slightly more noticeable, and her face, though still pointed to the street ahead of her, lowers. Just a little. Okay. I get for the reasons of pacing, they need to pace things, but things relationships definitely move very quickly in this. I walk down the hall of the girls' dormitories, my school bag in hand. A doll lies inside, carefully placed on top of a small box. I've been carrying the box in there for a while now, still not sure of what to do with it. This whole situation, come to think of it, is bizarre. While I've known of Hanako's upcoming birthday party for a while now, I had no idea of exactly what the celebrations would be until I found a single note left in the abandoned tea room earlier today. I hold it up and read it again, double-checking the instructions. The plain black handwriting's fairly legible, despite Lily's blindness, clearly thanks to considerable effort and care. Dating is another way to get to know someone, I suppose. Not making it official one day. Yeah, I know. I've just no. I just feel like, yeah, my if nothing else, like my personal experiences being in relationships where you kind of move like too quickly into like entertaining romantic thoughts about it just hasn't gone well. I think you can end up getting to a point where I mean, even if you realize it's not going to work out with someone, like breaking up like still hurts. So I feel like it can be better to like, test that, like make sure like you know each other well enough before going any further. But that's just me, maybe. Hisao, we'll be holding a party at my place. Please come at 6 o'clock to room 225 in the girls' dormitory. Sorry for notifying you this way, but I have class representative duties. Lily Sato. Not reassured, I continue walking down the hallway until I reach Lily's dormitory room. I hesitate for a second, but eventually give 3 sharp taps on the door. A brief and muffled exchange of words can be heard from the other side. Listening closer, I can just pick out Hanako and Lily's voices. As they finish, Lily calls out, "Might that be Hisao?" "Yep, I got the note you left for me." "You can come in. The door is unlocked." Glad that I managed to get the right room, I press down on the handle and let myself in. As the door swings open, my greeting to them is stolen from my mouth. Lily sits at a low table in the center of the room in her pajamas, while on the other side sits Hanako in a nightgown. Being dressed in only my normal school clothes, I feel quite out of place. I steal a quick glance at the lovely sight of the two, my eyes tearing themselves from Lily's long, thin, and pale legs with a measure of reluctance. Hi. I think I brought everything that was needed." She smiles and nods. I wonder if she's even aware of the pleasant sight she makes. The thin, dark blue silk of her pajamas really suits her, accentuating both her eyes and her curves. The look of her last night, that tentative and almost shy demeanor, seems all but replaced by her coy nature. It's nice to see her confidence returned, though I can't help but cast my mind back to how she looked back then. I look to Hanako, who nervously sits opposite her in her gown. It isn't a surprise that she'd wear something so conservative, though it definitely looks cute. "Hi, Hanako. Happy birthday." Thank you." She's unusually skittish. Is it unusual in this situation? Despite the fact that she's warmed up to me considerably over the weeks we've come to know each other, this is a pretty unusual situation, I guess. "Feel free to take a seat, Hisao. I'll just pour you two some tea." "Sure thing." Lily takes the steaming red teapot from the side of the table and gently pours its contents into our teacups as I take a seat beside them, setting my bag against a nearby wall. With my senses returned and hormones somewhat calmer, I realize that this is the first time I've ever been in Lily's room. The first thing I notice is the ambient smell, just slightly different from that of mine. Probably faint perfume or nail polish. It could be anything of a girl's, really. Another is the plain nature of the room, visually. Beige walls, a smart yet unadorned cabinet, the lack of posters or wall hangings. It's distinctly utilitarian. Something I should have anticipated given her blindness. The only thing that really seems out of the ordinary is several piles of books sitting on the floor, each reaching from roughly knee height to waist height. Some of them have printed titles, others are entirely blank except for dots of braille. The fact that the ones with printed titles are uniformly in English is interesting, though not completely unexpected. She did mention her parents impressing the language upon her and Akira, after all. Your room looks nice, Lily. I hear a call of thanks from beside my shoulder. Looking back to Hanako, her gaze is fixed on her lap, and her hands are nervously clutching her gown. It's now that I notice why. With these clothes on, the extent of her scarring is far more visible, reaching down her neck and out to cover her right shoulder. Considering this is a party for her, she doesn't really look like she's enjoying the experience now that I'm here. So, how old are you turning? 18? Her look of surprise, not at all helped by her total lack of skill at hiding her feelings, shows that she was trying to mentally tune me out. This is really quite awkward. Did Lily not tell Hanako that Hisao would be coming along? Yes. On the plus side, there's only 2 more years till you can drink. So, who's older? You or Lily? Lily. She had her birthday in February. What about yours? Earlier this year, so it's already passed. Unstated is that it passed while I was stuck in the hospital. Pretty sure Lily did tell her about Hanako. Okay, did that... See, that just... Is it going to be explained, like, why they're in their, like, bedclothes? Because, like, it doesn't feel like if... Knowing how, like, anxious Hanako is, particularly around Hisao more than Lily. Like, it doesn't... And they just decide not to let Hisao know this. That was a particularly low point of the experience. Conversation with her dries up as quickly as expected. It isn't long before Lily's finished preparing our drinks, setting down the 3 teacups in front of us. I pick mine up, immediately noticing a much stronger aroma and taste than the tea we've been having. It tastes different than the tea we have in school. It's a different variety, rather than the kind we've been having there. You've never tasted orange Jaipur before? The girls become... That's the thing, is Hanako clearly isn't comfy right now. Not that I can remember. I usually drink coffee after all, like when we were in town. This is nice though. Like it's fine for Lily. Like if Lily doesn't care, she doesn't care. But it's just, it bothers me that Hanako seems to be bothered by this. She wasn't until Hisao showed. I'm just still wondering, like, if she was aware of that the Hisao would be showing up. As we settle down and sip, Hanako seems to become more relaxed, or at least a bit less tense about my presence. We all finish our cups at about the same time, with Hanako failing rather badly at hiding her anticipation for the cake that's sitting to the side, begging to be eaten. Come to think of it, I'm feeling very eager myself. First things first, though. Lily? Yes, now is good. Being told something is a forewarning doesn't always help with anxiety when it actually happened. Oh, yeah, well, I wasn't thinking that it would help with the anxiety knowing in advance. I was thinking just I know part of it just seems like odd that Hanako would still choose like to wear a nightgown when she knows that Hisao's coming along. Each of us knowing exactly what the other means. I lean sideways and dig around in my bag for the doll I bought Hanako as Lily gets up and retrieves her gift. Hiding our gifts in our hands, we present them both on the table at the same time. Happy birthday! Hanako silently sits looking at them for seconds on end, out of sheer surprise. My little wooden doll, replete with Victorian-era dress and little hat, lies next to a light brown and fluffy stuffed bear from Lily. She clutches at her gown as she moves to speak, not taking her eyes off the modest presence. Thank you, Lily and Hisao. Oh. Her voice begins to crack as Lily reaches forward, wrapping her in a soft embrace. The sight of Hanako holding Lily so tightly is heartwarming. So much so that I couldn't wipe the smile off my face even if I wanted to. As Lily gently rests her face on Hanako's head, she speaks so quietly and softly that I can barely hear. Oh, seriously, this scene. Good old friendship. Yeah, this was something kind of that I quickly began looking forward to as we started down, like, the progress towards Lily's route. I was seeing a bit more of the friendship in it. Because we didn't see all that much in Rin and Emi's route. Like, outside of the track meet, there weren't really, like, many scenes where we got to see the two of them being friends. Happy birthday, Hanako. Happy birthday. Hanako gives a small nod, holding on to Lily for a time before breaking off and wiping an eye. I guessed that for Hanako, simply having someone, anyone, to be there and love her would be special. The fact that Lily and I can now share that role for her is something I think I will always be grateful for. Hanako gently takes the doll and teddy bear, holding them both to her chest as she warmly smiles. For a long time, all three of us simply sit in happy silence. The quiet is not broken until Lily's soft voice beckons. Shall we have the cake then? Her proposal is met with two looks of unhidden anticipation. No argument from me. Okay. Whew, that was good. I contentedly sit back, both Lily and Hanako looking just as satisfied with the food as I. Oh, oops. Didn't mean to skip. It took some effort, but we managed to finish off the cake in one go. I don't think I could fit any more in. I think next time I'll buy a smaller cake. Hanako and I give a chuckle, but I can't help noticing that come this time next year, we'll have graduated from Yamaku. Rin actually appears in one of Emi's H scenes. Oh, I think you had mentioned that to me, Muni, when I. No, because I think I was bringing up one of the story of the girl who drowned. Is that a song or a reference to something that I'm missing? It's a song, okay. She walks in once. Yeah, that sounds like Rin. But no, I remember like there being one scene with, I think it was with Emi, and I remember like kind of voicing aloud, just kind of like, what happens if Rin just walks in here? That was the source of the trope name when she smiles. Oh, okay. I wonder if that's a song I'd recognize if I heard it. Like the lyrics, like that it feels like I would. Like it's one of those songs I feel I've heard a lot of times, but never really. I mean, oh boy. Anyway, moving on. That fact is somewhat depressing, since I finally feel as if my life is starting to get back into some kind of order. Idly looking around Lily's neat and orderly room, her books catch my eye once again. This may be a little impetuous, but my curiosity gets the better of me. Besides, I don't think she'll mind in any case. Hey, Lily, do you mind if I take a look at one of your books? You're quite welcome to, Hisao. That said, if you can overcome 2 language barriers, I will be quite impressed. 2? Braille and... oh, right, English. She gives a nod. I knew you were studying English, but I'm still amazed that you're this proficient at it. One could say it's a perfect way to avoid people borrowing my collection. That good old tactic. But to be fair, that kind of reminds me of, like, learning to like a snack that no one else in the house likes. So that you kind of can be sure that, yeah, no one's going to steal my food because no one else likes my food. She says it in jest, but I am a little disappointed. Having all these books around me with no way of reading them feels like one big tease. Hanako giggles quietly as I reach over the closest pile, plugging the topmost book with only a cursory glance. Death on Denial, in large letters on the cover, is the only printed text to be seen. I sit down for a while with the book open on my lap as Lily and Hanako talk. Try as I might to feel out the dots of braille printed on each page, they seem to blend into one another and become indistinct. I'd thought this to be a lot easier than it actually is. With some practice though, I could see someone with a better sense of touch than mine managing to read at a pretty fast speed. Biggest perpetrator at your family guys get mad. Oh. Yeah, I kind of struggled a little with that though, because, you know, I'm a picky eater. It's trying to find something that, you know, doesn't put me off the food, but would put my family off. Oh. I know one of them is like, when we get like the variety boxes of chocolates here at Christmas, there's one called, we have the Bounty Bar, which is full of like, desiccated coconut. And I love it. I really like it. But very few other people in the family do. So I always make a habit of, like, when it's going around the first times, like, don't eat those ones. Eat all the ones that I know other people like. And then kind of, oh, all the other ones that everyone likes has been eaten. Well, I guess I'll just take the entire rest of the box, because it's only got the ones I like left. Noticing a silence that had probably begun earlier, I look up from the dotted pages to see Lily smiling as Hanako sips another cup of tea. Excuse me? Is something wrong? Quite the opposite. Your curiosity is quite endearing. I am inordinately pleased by the praise, though I can feel my cheeks heating up a little. Thanks, but I don't know how else I could act. To be honest, I wasn't altogether sure of how you saw us, since you are a new transfer student from another school. If you'd pitied us, I would have been quite offended. There's a certain edge to Lily's voice, one that I'd quite possibly place as pride. Glancing over to Hanako, she seems even more subdued than usual, looking towards Lily rather than me. I wouldn't worry about that. Considering the position I found myself in, I'm perhaps the last person that should be dispensing pity on others. You learned to like peanut butter flavoured foods and mint chocolate? Oh, mint chocolate's nice. I do like me some mint chocolate. Peanut butter... To be fair, we don't have many peanut butter flavoured stuff over here. I know I like peanut butter itself. I think like the only peanut butter flavoured stuffs we really have are like Reese's. Like the whole Reese's line of foods. Get tired of stealing most of your snacks you're required to. Yep, that's the way you go about it. My parents' first interactions with me after my heart attack, I wouldn't want anyone to see that kind of face. You notice lack of Reese's there. Yeah, you have to go to like the special, like the American snack stores to get the like good selection of Reese's here. I catch myself from going any further, but not soon enough. Both of the girls seem to be put off. Lily especially. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gone that far. An awkward silence reigns for a few beats. Thankfully ended as Lily's head perks up in a gesture I've come to easily recognize. Hear something? The door. Oh. Who's just... Everyone looks towards it, trusting in Lily's senses. And true enough, the door handle shudders and turns, a flash of yellow and black slipping through. Oh. Akira Sato is in the house. Happy birthday, Hanako. Thank you. Akira takes a seat at the table as she plops her tall bag beside her. She has her trademark boisterous air about her, making no small deal of her entrance. Hanako clutches her gown to steady herself, but doesn't appear too shaken after she settles down. I guess she must have met Akira before. Not a huge surprise given how close Akira and Lily are. Akira doesn't seem to be the least bit put off by Hanako's scarring, despite its prominence, but she also doesn't pull any punches in how she acts, despite Hanako's shy nature. I thought you said you'd have to work, Akira. Did you manage to get off for a while? Yeah, kinda. I feel bad about ditching the guys doing overtime, so I gotta get back soon. But I felt bad about not coming to your cute little Hanako's birthday too. So for now, I'm here. She grins widely at Hanako, who flowers into a full blush as she pins her eyes downward towards her lap. Her mouth seems to widen and retract over and over, as if she was trying to suppress a smile out of embarrassment. It's a little strange how her reaction seems to be more immediate and forceful than when she's embarrassed by the way she looks. All she manages to give in return is a tiny nod, failing to hide her appreciation to any great extent. Not that many people give her positive attention, I suppose. It makes me respect how well Akira can handle her, making her so happy, compared to what little I could do. Now then, before I go... She reaches into the bag beside her and grandly displays its contents. Out come 2 large glass bottles, both with long French names on the labels. Hanako's expression is an odd mix of surprise and curiosity, and I suspect mine's no different. Lily, not seeing the proceedings, is oblivious to what's going on. Akira... This isn't... What is it? Wine. 1 red, 1 white. Akira, that's... Relax. It's not like Shizune's here to scold you. Lily has a point. That's not exactly allowed on campus. Or anywhere, really. We're still short of the legal drinking age, remember? Rich words for someone practically drooling as he examines a bottle. She got me there. I am genuinely interested in trying some. Even just a little. I tried like 1 sip of red wine and nope. I'm not a fan. So that was at when Meta had the like high school social when he was graduating. Like age stops people from trying like yeah. While Hanako may not be handling one herself, her look does tell me that she's far from opposed to the notion as well. Lily rubs her forehead, giving up the fight that she knows Akira would win due to simply not caring enough about those funny rules and regulations. Just don't breathe a word of this to anyone at the school. Please, I beg of you. I'm not stupid, don't worry. That said, I gotta get back to work pretty soon. So soon? But you only just arrived. Sorry, Lily. Good to see you two again, though. And you, Hisao. See you later, then. Goodbye, Akira. She levers herself up with a grunt and waltzes out of the room, leaving us alone with the 2 items on the table. Interesting. Pretty much bored of alcohol, but I've just never been a fan of it. Like I was the, you know, the good boy who like didn't drink until I was of legal age, and I just don't like it. I found like ciders, I don't mind on occasion. Like sometimes I'll have like a bottle for my birthday or at Christmas. But at the moment, I think it's been more than a year since I've had like any alcohol. I prefer like fruit juice and soda if I'm going to have something nice to drink. Lily gives a nervous giggle at her sister's antics as Hanako takes a wine bottle. So, what do you think, Lily? She rests her elbow on the table and pinches the bridge of her nose, thinking things through. She really doesn't seem to be able to keep up with her sister. Mom kept trying to find a drink, like the moment you turned 18, so she and I could drink together when you turned 21. Didn't work out? Oh. Okay, so is the law there that like you can drink with, like you can drink at home when you're 18, but you have to be like 21 to like go out and buy alcohol or drink, or like go to bars or something? I know here it's just kind of when you're 18, like that's when you can buy and drink alcohol. Do I think before that you are like, if I don't know if there is like a lower age, but I know like before you turn 18, you are allowed to drink alcohol. Like, under supervision, you're allowed to have alcohol. Like I think like at Christmas dinners and such. If you're, let's say, like 15, I think you live in England. 16 with current position. Underage drink is best not do anything to it. Yeah. Okay. 16 to drink with parental permission in restaurants and stuff. Okay. So I imagine that's probably the same, because I live over in Northern Ireland, Ash. Underage drink is best not do anything to get you in trouble. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've just never really looked at. I've never really looked into the laws because, again, I just never cared for alcohol. I think part of like growing up in Ireland meant that I've seen a lot of drunks and like seen what alcohol like can do to people's inhibitions. It's kind of put me off it. I'm kind of like, I never want to be that person wandering the street, not making any sense. But no, I'm kind of, yeah, I'm happy enough that I know I like ciders, so like if I am like out at a fancy restaurant or something, I can order something. 15th birthday is still the problem. Oh no. I think the most I've ever drunk was like maybe it was my 19th or 20th, and I had 2 whole bottles of cider. And like I say that like the 2 like you know, like individual bottles, not like a big bottle. You know, from working at a grocery store, if someone tries to buy alcohol and you're unable to, then you can't sell it to anyone or whatever. Yeah. I've never heard it worded like that, but to be fair, I've never worked somewhere that sold age-restricted items. But I do know there is it's illegal to buy something for someone who can't legally buy it. So I imagine there'd probably be regulations and rules similar to that here. That would say kind of, hey, if a kid tries to buy like cigarettes or alcohol, and like you verify that they don't have ID, don't sell it to anyone with them. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had to like worry about things being age restricted at shops that I've worked at. Well, it's already here. We may as well have some. 2 liters of, oh boy. Yeah, that's the kind like stories like that like had put me off alcohol when I was younger. Oh, I've got a new spider friend in my room. Oh. So yeah. I'll just be hoping that in this scene, like, these Lilly and Hanako seem sensible enough that they won't go overboard. I don't know if I can trust Hisao, but we saw what happened with him and the whiskey and Kenji's route. No sooner does she say it than I take a quick glance around the room for glasses. She's certainly eager to get in on the wine, Hisao. A small groan above me reminds me that Lilly retired to rest on her bed for a few minutes ago. Almost completely drained of energy, I managed to stand up and drag myself to the side of the bed, sitting down and leaning my back against it. Oh boy. Never got that drunk, always stopped a moment. I don't know if I've ever... I don't know if I've ever drank enough to feel a buzz. But I feel that's another reason I'm kind of like very conservative with my drinking, is because like with my, like I've mentioned it with other things, like my ability to like tell when I'm hungry properly, or like when I need the bathroom. I'm kind of nervous that it'll be the similar with alcohol, that I won't be able to tell when it's starting to affect me. Because I don't quite like know like what does that buzz feel like? But yeah, looks like Hisao and the others went a bit too far with this. Good God. Lily's groan sounds lifeless. Too much to drink. My head hurts. Yeah, too much to drink. I rest my head back and idly stare at the ceiling. What an unmitigated disaster. Like proper idiots, we all drank the night away with one glass after another. Hanako simply fell to the side asleep, and it's a miracle I don't feel as ill as Lilly. Pretty conscious of your body's tells, like how you know going to bar or whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just know I'm not like that. I don't know if it's like the autism or the ADHD or like the mix of the two. But no. Yeah, I just kind of, it makes me nervous about trying it. And to be fair, I've never been at a point where I've never felt like the need to like get that buzz. Like I've heard people say like that it's nice, but I've just never felt the need for it. Hey, Hisao? I'm sorry about today. I didn't think this would happen. It's fine, Lilly. To tell the truth, I had a lot of fun today. Really? I think Hanako did too. No, she certainly did. There's a short silence before another groan resounds from the supine Lilly. You okay? As you said, I just drank too much. What's the time? The time? It's... I quickly look at my wristwatch. Its numerals barely legible in the gloom. About midnight. Curfew's in effect then? Yeah, guessed as much. We'll all have to sleep here for tonight. As soon as I say it, I hear the sheets moving as Lily starts to sit up. Hanako. No, go back to sleep. Don't try to get up. Hisa, I have to... You're in worse shape than me by any stretch. Get some rest. But what about... I'll grab some spare blankets and put them over her. Don't worry. As I give a deep yawn and stand to retrieve them, I hear her lie back down with a soft thud. Don't drink to get drunk, you avoid it because lack of control. No. Yeah, that's... I don't know. I don't feel I could ever get over that fear of... I hate the idea of not being in control of myself. Like, I already feel a little bit that way with just my inability to focus and, like, put my attention on what I want my attention to be on. So the thought of, like, deliberately doing something that would put me in a position where I don't have that. I don't even have what control I do have over myself and my actions. So. Thank you, Hiso. No problem. It's the least I can do. You look outright wasted. I'm not wasted. Just a little bit tired. She starts pouting, a slight slur beginning to distort her words as the alcohol takes hold of her again. I grab a couple of blankets rolled up at the end of her bed. Quietly walking over to Hanako, I carefully lay the blankets over her peacefully sleeping figure, making sure not to wake her up. The thick smell of alcohol coming off her breath makes me doubt she'd wake up no matter what I did, though. I stand and take one last measure of the room. 2 girls, both very drunk, and 1 guy sleeping overnight with them in the female student dorms. What a scandal that'd be if it broke out. As I move to sit back down at the side of the bed, I steal one last glance at Lily. Her sprawling, disheveled figure lies resting peacefully, slightly turned to the side. I crouch down to get a better look. Just don't be weird about it. Yeah. Her white skin blends in with the white pillow of the bed, a look of slumber-born peacefulness on her face. Usually she seems so confident and forward, always there and caring for Hanako. Now, though, she seems painfully delicate. That's another problem, isn't it? Well, what time did... I go all the way back to the note, like... Ah, yes. 6 o'clock. Okay, so that's probably, like, just after dinner? So, like, they drank 2 whole bottles, like, without any food in between it. Like, isn't that, like, particularly bad? Like, if you are going to be drinking, aren't you supposed to, like... Isn't it better to have food at the same time to help, like, absorb it? Isn't that something that helps your body absorb it? Hello, little spider friend. You'll just get drunk faster? Okay. Usually she seems so confident and forward, always there and caring for Hanako. Now, though, she seems painfully delicate. I think back to Hanako's presence. I thought it would be a nice occasion for her, but I'd hardly expected it to be so moving. One birthday after another, year after year. Just she and Lily, all alone. I guess it wasn't just a presence she liked. Resigning myself to an uncomfortable sleep, I sit down at the side of the bed once again and rest my tired arms beside me. Doesn't make that much of a difference. It's a glass of wine with or outfit is still a glass. I suppose so. Lord. I do wonder what day of the week this is for them. Like, do these 3 have school in the morning? You just want to learn your limits. Once you did that, you always knew how far you could take it. Oh, yeah. No, I've just heard enough stories of. I suppose, like, if you know your limits, that's one thing. But I've heard if there's two options and like one of them's pretty bad, I'm always on the side of I don't know if I want to find out what type of what kind of person I would be if I get drunk. You know, just especially because, like, as I've said, I'm perfectly fine without drinking. I don't feel that need. I'm happy enough as I am. Hey, Hisa? Lily's voice is so quiet I can barely hear it. She must be on the verge of sleep. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you? For what? For being here. That's okay. As I hear a deep breath, it's obvious Lily's gone to sleep. After closing my eyes, it doesn't take long for slumber to take me as well. Hisa? Hisa, are you? The soft, barely audible voice lingering in my ears slowly wakes me. I wish I could be awoken like this more often. With a mumble, I slowly open my... Whoa! Taken by surprise at the face hovering curiously mere millimeters from mine, I make our heads collide with a harsh thud. The impact of our foreheads causes both of us to fall back and yelp in pain. Lily's sounding more like a squeak toy than a person. Don't call her out like that. Ow, ow, ow! I slowly rub my forehead with one hand, supporting myself with the other. Lily lies a few feet ahead doing just the same, her face obviously pained. Sorry, your face was kinda close and I acted on reflex. You okay? My head. It seems she's not actually okay. Come to think of it, I doubt that the impact alone is what's causing her head so much pain. A hangover? You drank a fair bit last night. She silently nods in confirmation as I lever myself up. I offer a hand to her and help her back onto her feet. Accidental headbutt. Yeah. Reason you don't really drink anymore, you just don't feel the need to? Yeah. I feel that's... I feel that's like the main reason for me, but also just... Alcohol feels like pretty expensive to me compared to like the other options I have for drinking. No, because most of what I drink at the moment is either water, Gamer Sups, or Dr. Pepper. And Dr. Pepper is definitely the most expensive of those three. But like the Gamer Sups, I think it's like 70 pence for a half litre. Which is a lot cheaper than the cider. I like. I offer a hand to her and help her back onto her feet. Glancing behind her, I find that Hanako's still fast asleep. It's not fair. I only drank as much as you did. You'd think with her having Scottish blood in her, she'd have a bit more of a natural tolerance. That's very different from what I remember. And anyway, girls have a lower tolerance than men. That doesn't help. Fine, I'll get you a glass of water. Just be careful not to trip over Hanako. I rub the sleep out of my eyes, or at least some of it, as I walk to the counter. Attending to someone with a hangover isn't the way I like to spend my morning. It only takes a few seconds for the glass to fill, the clear water reflecting the sliver of light that makes it through the thin curtains. Looks like Lily's taking a seat on the side of the bed. I walk over to her while taking care to step over to peacefully sleeping Hanako and place the glass into her outstretched hands. Thank you. No problem. I take a seat next to her, the soft bed having a surprising amount of give. She drinks slowly and methodically. A long silence passes with only Hanako's soft breathing to be heard. With some measure of guilt, I look at Lily's face and attempt to read her expression. Her brow is furrowed and she looks to be lost in thought. For a moment I hesitate, but eventually place a hand on her shoulder in an attempt to reassure her. I didn't expect her to flinch rather noticeably at that, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to... Lily quickly shakes her head, in a manner somewhat more violent than usual for her. That is probably not helping her headache. She takes a long breath to steady herself before letting her head sink. I must look terrible right now. I moved to protest, but quickly realized it would be futile to do so. That said, I want her to open up more. If you want to talk about anything, I'm here. Lily gives a self-deprecating snort, as if to mock her own emotions. There's just a lot happening right now. I'm sorry for being so strange recently, especially back when we were in town. Even now, I'm a bit confused about everything. Believe me, I know how that feels. She smiles wistfully, resting a cheek on the backs of her fingers. We're a couple of broken young fools, aren't we? Come on, don't say that. Come graduation, we'll be back out into the real world. The real world? Sometimes I surprise myself with the way I think about things. I guess the strange, divorced feeling of Yamago and the surrounding town compared to the outside world still hasn't become natural. Maybe it never will. It's strange, in hindsight. Being isolated from society like this doesn't feel as bad as it probably should. A wry grin on her face, Lily seems to share the same sense of amusement at the idea. Eventually, though, her smile drops. I'll be going back to Scotland for a week or two soon. Is that why we had to reschedule Hanako's birthday party? She gives an affirmative nod. You'll be able to see your family again, at least. You're not looking forward to it? I haven't met my family in 6 years. I don't even know how to act around them anymore. Wait, what? My mouth hangs open as I try to process what she said. If she's 18, that means she'd have been only 12 when they left. I may have seen very little of my parents, what with them both working long hours, but that's... I feel utterly useless as I struggle to find some way to respond. But why? Why did they leave, or why are they inviting Akira and me back? Both, I suppose. My father's business has its headquarters in Scotland, and an executive position became available for him there. In the end, he had to move permanently. My mother followed him, but Akira and I stayed in Japan for the sake of both Akira's job within the Japanese branch of my father's company, and my education. As for the latter, one of my aunts is gravely sick. I'm sorry. Don't be. It feels strange, really. We're being summoned there for her, yet we've barely met before. I can't even remember the sound of her voice. Equally strange is the total lack of antipathy she feels towards her family for doing such a thing. I can't help feeling slightly humbled. That said, her wistful exterior is just hiding her emotions. Seeing her like this is depressing. Knowing what to do, I lift myself off the bed. Excuse me? Lily notices the bed's movements, her head perking up and her hand reaching sideways to feel where I was. Hisao? I walk over to my bag, still leaning against the wall. Unbuckling the front flap and retrieving the opaque bag from within, I take the small, plain box in my hands. Hold your hands out, Lily. She looks surprised for a moment, but eventually acquiesces. I'm amused by her look of curiosity when I place the music box into her open palms. Her typically delicate way of handling it makes it seem as if it were fragile enough to break if breathed on. She wordlessly brings it in front of her face, her slender fingers feeling out its contours and patterning. Eventually, her fingers find a recessed line between the lid and the body of the box, and her thumb effortlessly pops open the lid. I take a seat on the bed next to her, watching her face silently and intently. She sits completely motionless as she listens to the diminutive, tinny melody, her mouth just slightly open. It takes a long while before she closes the lid with a small snap, bringing the curtain down on the miniature performance playing in her hands. Gotta check on more work? No worries, my dear. Hopefully it's not too much of a bother for you. The smile on her face, gentle and wistful, shows that I made the right decision. Think of it as a going-away present for your trip to Scotland. I will. A restless shuffling can be heard from the floor in front of us, the sound having woken Hanako. She climbs out of the blankets I put over her, looking befuddled and wiping the sleep from her eyes. I see you're finally up. What? Hanako looks around the room with her eyes only half open, her mind far from being as awake as her body. Her dazed state makes me and Lilly chuckle. As Lilly gets off the bed and tends to Hanako, I take one last look around the room. I guess I'd better get going then. There'll be questions if I'm seen leaving the girls' dormitories in the morning. Goodbye, Hisao. Oh, goodbye. I stand and walk to the door, picking up my somewhat lighter bag along the way. After I leave the room and enter the hallway, though, I hear Lily's footsteps behind me. What's wrong? Without a word, she strides up to me. I freeze as I feel her hand slide onto my cheek, seemingly every nerve taken into feeling of her fingers and palm upon it. Immediately after, her face slowly moves next to mine, a light, momentary touch of her lips brushing against my other cheek. For a moment, everything seems to stand still. I absent-mindedly bring my fingers to my cheek, as if to try and recapture that fleeting feeling. Lily. That's my thank you, Hisao. Thank you? For your present. Have a nice day in school. And with that, she disappears behind her door and gently closes it, the muffled voices of her and Hanako audible through it, much as they were yesterday night. I think I'd be hard-pressed not to have a nice day after that. I walk away with a certain spring to my step. I think there were some people around that glanced at me emerging from the girls' dormitory building, but I find it difficult to care. Oh. I thought there was going to be a continuation. Hit-chan! Go away. Hit-chan! Leave me alone. Come on, Hit-chan! Let me sleep. After 2 nights of not being able to sleep at all, the last thing I want is to be woken when I finally manage to. Why haven't you been able to sleep? It may be the last period of class with a textbook as my pillow, but I'll take whatever sleep I can get by this point. See, Hit-chan, even Shit-chan wants you to get up. I don't care what Shizune wants. Leave me alone. Jeez, Hit-chan, I'll just have to wake... Wait, Misha's going to... You... This is bad. I'm up. You don't have to... I can feel my face flowering into a scarlet red blush. The students still in class are sitting bolt upright and staring at the shouting fool who was sleeping just moments before. Damn it. I let my head smack down on the table with a noticeable thud. Misha's trademark uncontrolled laughter reverberates through the classroom. I'm guessing this is like a free period or something, because otherwise I feel the teacher would have something to say. As I turn my mournful eyes to the bespectacled Shizune beside her, she carefully adjusts her glasses, desperately trying to maintain a look of serious disapproval. Narrowing my eyes, I can see the badly hidden grin spreading across her face. Hey too, Shizune? Shizune looks away quite quickly as she crosses her arms tightly, barely on the edge of her control. Misha's laughter doubles in volume as she glances at Shizune. All I can do is drag my hand down my face in resignation. You two... you was the one who slept in class, Hitchan? Yeah, it was me. Could be homeroom. Well, he says it's the last period of the day. No, I suppose I don't know, like, what the layout of, like... I only know what the layout of schools here in Northern Ireland are like. Where we only tended to have... Yeah, we only tended to have homeroom in... pretty much just in the mornings. Like, it was always kind of just... It was where you went to first class of the day. Just to, like, take attendance and give out announcements. Poor Shit-chan was having a fit trying to wake you up, weren't you? I moved my eyes back to the standoffish Shizune, who, with a single huff of confirmation, returns to looking away with her arms crossed. Why was Shizune trying to wake me up? Shit-chan wanted to give you the handouts the substitute teacher gave out while Hit-chan was sleeping. Handouts? Well, I had one school that had a homeroom where I'd been there for... Oh, okay. I suddenly find 2 sheets of paper thrust down in front of my face. Following the hand holding them, I see the still pouting figure looking down at me with a distinct scowl. I guess I really am in the wrong here. Sorry about that. No dice. Her irritated face still holds. I clasp my hands together and flick my head downwards in apology. Very, very sorry. She huffs and simply drops the papers on the desk. Damn. I look up over my hands to see Shizune and Misha signing frantically to each other. A look of frustration on Shizune's face. Helps when there's important announcements or emergencies. Oh yeah. We didn't have anything like it in primary school, but that's because in primary school you only had like the one class. But yeah, throughout the whole of high school we always had a... I'm trying to remember what we called it. We didn't call it homeroom. I can't remember what we called it. It looks to be less of a dialogue and more of a trade, punctuated with sidelong glances at me. To say it's unsettling is an understatement. That's it, registration. No. Helps to have another Brit in the chat. Oh, normally all my viewers are American. No, like I kept thinking like form class, but that's like only in like sixth form. And I dropped out of sixth form. So it wouldn't be the most I'd remember. The two suddenly stop signing and look at me in unison, both having exactly the same look of disapproval. In one fluid motion, Misha's hand suddenly extends high above me and comes rocketing down. Before I can even hope to react, my head is sent bouncing up and down like a jack-in-the-box. I quickly bring my hands to my head, more out of reflex than actual pain. Ow! What was that for? I open my eyes to see the two grinning at each other while exchanging an enthusiastic thumbs up. Chit-chan says she forgives you now, Hit-chan. Could you forgive me with a little less force next time? I look at the two with a blank face. Misha and Shizune 1, Hisao 0. Oh, Chit-chan also says you should check your student mail more often. Oh, the letter. She produces a bright yellow envelope and hands it over with an exuberant grin. Strange. Who could have written me a letter? Canon event. Now is not the time, and most definitely not the place to find out, though. Giving up on the nap so cruelly stolen from me, I rub my forehead and slowly get up, putting the sheets and envelope in my bag before swinging it over my shoulder. Again, why haven't you been able to sleep the past 2 nights? I take a step back and move to depart with a small bow, while Misha clutches her sides laughing, and Shizune nods back in a curt farewell. I joined the flow of students exiting the open door, and turned a corner into the hallway, only to end up face to face with Hanako. Whoa, hey Hanako. Good afternoon, Hisao. Silence falls between us as busily chatting students pass us by. She's fidgeting constantly, her eyes drawn to her rather unremarkable footwear. I take the bridge of my nose in my fingers while I blink my eyes heavily in an attempt to make things seem clearer. I'm barely staying awake as it is. Hanako, you want to say something? What is it? I wanted to give you this. Hmm? She holds out a small, rectangular piece of paper. I blink again to make out the text through barely open eyes, slowly starting to make out what's written. Eggs, bread loaf, whole grain cereal, time. A shopping list? I look upwards, raising an eyebrow. I usually go shopping with Lilly, but I can't come, so... You want me to run errands for you? It's okay if you don't want to. I just thought that maybe, She's panicking. I sigh. Yet another battle lost, though this time by a weakly fought surrender. I smile tiredly and rest a hand on her head to calm her down. It's fine. I was going to go anyway. Just the stuff on this list? She nods, then bows deeply, twice, as if to make her gratitude perfectly clear. We were going to meet outside the school gates at 6. Thank you. I was going to get it, but I need to study for the test tomorrow. Test? Ah, that's right. Science. How are you doing with it? She brightens ever so slightly. I've been spending more time on it than before, so I think I can do okay. Good work, then. She too starts smiling, and much more earnestly than I at that. I have full confidence that I can do fine in it, without any extra studying. But the fact that she's putting in the effort instead of just reading in the library is heartening. I'll grab your stuff and take it to your dorm in the evening. See ya. With a small wave, we part ways. I'll go do my homework before meeting Lilly. I should be able to take care of it in time. Without falling asleep. Wrangling with a particularly complicated math problem has caused me to be a little bit late for my meeting with Lilly. Only a couple of minutes, but enough to make me step smartly out into the courtyard and to the school gate. I make a right turn and start my way towards the small town below, leaving a few students turning the other way to the bus station. I slip my right hand into my pocket as I walk in the orange sunlight of dusk. Thankfully, the sweltering summer's heat started to die down, making way for a pleasant, cool breeze. When I stretch my hands high above my head, a familiar figure takes form, cane in her right hand. Ah, Lilly! She stops and turns round, swiveling her head slightly to try and work out exactly where the voice came from. Hey, it's me. I quickly catch up to her, coming in beside her and matching her slow pace as we resume walking. Good afternoon, Hisao. Hi there. I glance up at the sky. A distinct tinge of orange discolors the clouds, washing the footpath in its light. Long shadows from the trees fall across the wide road down the hill. So, Hisao, what brings you here? Just going to town to grab some groceries. Hanako sent me. Hanako sent you? Yeah, she said she needed to study for a test tomorrow. I was going to come down anyway, so I'll just buy her stuff as well. Unspoken is that Lilly really could use some help to get food, but it's an obvious fact that neither of us needs to state. It's good to hear she's studying for it. I thought the same thing when she asked me to come with you. We continue walking down the street, the familiar sound of her cane echoing through the air as we go. Except for the occasional passing car and the leaves whispering in the branches, there's a blissful silence. Thank God I can finally relax for the first time today. I glance over at Lilly. That porcelain face of hers never seems to lack that air of relaxed confidence. I guess the same can be said of her personality too. As she silently walks, her face remaining pointed to the street ahead of her, I look ahead and savor the cool air blowing over my face. This is probably the calmest moment I've had since the about-face my life took so recently. half at Wall Walking to get some groceries. What a weird life. I feel the crumbled up note rubbing against my hand in my pocket and pull it out to check its contents. Let's see here. Eggs, bread, cereal, thyme, lettuce, shaved ham. That sounds like quite a bit to carry back along with your own. Yeah, just how much does this girl eat anyway? My mind suddenly clicks that yes, there actually is a person beside me. Wait, I mean... She laughs wholeheartedly. My, Hisa. Her giggles punctuate her words, though she's making little effort to suppress them. Quite direct today, aren't we? Yeah, you got me there. Still, it is quite a bit. Usually I go shopping with Hanako, so I know what she buys. It's the same thing every week. Huh, is she a good cook? She gives a nervous giggle. It's usually me who ends up cooking. I used to do so for Akira, so it's no problem doing it for Hanako as well. You can cook, but... A short hum with an amused lilt emanates from beside me. I wonder if the fact that she seems amused by my comments so often is actually genuine, or rather just from her want to make me more comfortable in addressing her blindness. There are ways around it. Some meals are more difficult to cook than others, because of being unable to see what I'm doing, but it usually only takes a little more time. Fingers can double as very useful measurement tools, for example. It makes sense, but she'd have to be pretty careful not to hurt herself. I wonder how many times that's happened, given that it sounds like she's cooked alone for possibly years while Akira worked and her parents were gone. Excuse me? With that, the conversation trails off. Compared to the awkward silences of Hanako, Lilly seems genuinely content to say what she thinks and stay quiet when there's nothing to say. The slick road under my feet is bathed in an orange glow, the occasional fallen leaf crunching underfoot as we walk. I let out a deep yawn, my lack of sleep coming back to haunt me. How much time has passed? I really wish there was like a date in the corner to keep track of things. Because I feel in both Emmy and Rin's route, it was... I feel like summer had hardly ended by the time that route finished. Lilly's feels like it's... We've skipped a lot more time. Did you not get much sleep last night? I couldn't sleep at all for the last 2 nights. Probably insomnia. Lily's face suddenly becomes worried. It feels like a personal failure every time she gets worried about my well-being, even if it's genuinely nice to know someone cares. All of her take different amounts of time? Okay. It's just kind of... I just really wish there was a date in the corner. Just 11th of October. Just to kind of... So I could easily keep track. Because sometimes it's weird, when I see the little time skip transition, are we skipping to the next day? Or have months passed? You have insomnia. Aren't you going to see the nurse about it? No real need. It's happened before a few times. My meds screw with my sleeping occasionally. I'm... sorry. Oh, come on, it's not your fault. At least I shouldn't have any trouble getting to sleep tonight. You do worry me sometimes. I worry? I reach round and scratch the back of my neck. I kind of want to address this. Hey, Lilly? I don't mean to sound weird, but please try to forget about my heart condition. She looks kind of lost. I hardly blame her. I guess what I'm trying to get at is just don't treat me differently because of it. She bows her head slightly, her white cheeks reddening almost imperceptibly. It's only natural to worry about those around you. Well, it's still nice to know there's someone like that out there. It may be somewhat embarrassing to say, but it's the truth. Lilly takes a breath to regain her composure and manages a gentle smile, though her cheeks remain flushed. The final downhill walk to the store passes in silence. Welcome! I suppose I'll get my stuff first and Hanako... Excuse me. Sorry, I just felt like something caught my throat there. I suppose I'll get my stuff first and Hanako's on the second round. I grab 2 well-worn red baskets from the stack beside the entrance and pass one to Lilly. Just as she did before, she lays it on the ground and slides her retracted cane between the basket's handles before picking it back up with her right hand. When she takes hold of my arm in her own, I'm surprised at just how fast this kind of casual contact became so natural. Mostly due to necessity, no doubt. Shall we? Sure. While we navigate around the store, the odd person occasionally passing us pays us no heed at all. It's nice, compared to the stares and whispers around the city. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lilly what she needs and grab it along with what I want, putting our items into their respective baskets. It's an odd feeling to be depended on so much for something so basic as shopping. Hanako would be practically a necessity for her to pick out what she wants after all. Right, I'm pretty much done with both my stuff and Hanako's. You needing anything else, Lilly? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. Oddly, there's a queue a mile long. Considering the store is only large enough to warrant one counter, seems like it'll take a while. For as long as it's Hanako, Emmy, Rin. Okay, Hanako's is the shortest? Even shorter, okay. I felt like Emmy and Rin would be the shortest, but okay, I guess. Because Emmy and Rin's definitely didn't feel... See, I feel I kind of prefer them when they're longer. Because to me that like feels like a more natural like growth of a friendship. Shizune's route ends over 2 months after Hanako's? Okay. Like, even if you do just like time skip, like I don't need scenes over these different scenes, but just maybe like stretch out the friendship a bit more. Damn. Lilly gives an inquisitive look, unable to see the reason for my complaint. The queue's really long. Looks like we'll have to wait. How strange. Sharing the same mood of resignation, we reluctantly take our place at the end of the line. One person finishes, the line moves up. Another person finishes, the line moves up. By the time we finally reach the head of the line, I'm so close to dozing off that Lilly has to gently pat me on the back for me to move up. Hisao. Hisao. Sorry. She gives a short sigh of consternation as I move up, getting the groceries for Hanako and me put into separate bags. Thank you. Please come again. By the time we emerge from the store, Lily's holding a single bag while I struggle to carry 4, both hands well and truly full. It's a lot of work, but thankfully the items in them are light. Even without looking skyward, it's obvious that a surprising amount of time has passed, the road outside being dark and lit by street lamps. Once Lilly retrieves her cane, we set out back toward the dormitories the way we came, leaving the welcoming warm glow of the store. Despite the road being empty of cars, the full bags abundantly make up for the lack of noise, constantly clunking and squeaking together. My, Hisao. It's good to find that you're eating well. I'm a growing guy after all. I need to eat all I can. It must be nice being a man. What? Seemingly not noticing or ignoring my surprise at the completely out of left field comment, she continues on without missing a beat. Weight doesn't really bother you when eating, most of the time? I think that, yeah... After a moment, like I know was kind of blessed with like a pretty good metabolism for like all my teenage years and my early 20s. But I am starting to notice now I do need to start paying more attention to what I'm eating. I get what you mean. Women tend to worry about stuff like that more than we do, I guess. Exactly. It makes me somewhat envious, to be honest. Well, it's not like we can outright ignore it. With an affirmative nod. Oh, did not mean to skip. An affirmative nod, we continue our walk. Huh, that's right. What is it? Hanako mentioned your birthday was earlier this year. Do anything special for it? She gives a long pause, lost in thought for a few seconds as she recalls the event. Not really. It was just Hanako and me having a little party during the night after school. Your birthday's supposed to be a big event, you know. It sounds like a pretty lonely way to spend a birthday, just her and Hanako staying overnight. Birthdays always felt like a family occasion for me. They were a time when, in spite of their full-time jobs, both my parents would make an effort to be there for the day, or at least for a party beforehand. It reminds me of how Lilly mentioned she hadn't seen her family in such a long time, and even ended up moving away from Akira's house afterwards. But I guess it's the same in situations as mundane as these. Considering her inability to read the packaging, just getting groceries would be a pain without somebody else around. In the end, she just has Hanako and me, and Akira when she's off from work. Be it as it may, she still seems to have many more distant friends among the students, not to mention people like Yugo. It seems to be her own choice that there's such a separation between those who are close to her and those who she only socializes with. It humbles me a little to see how much Lilly seems to have her life set up and going just as she wants. Yet, Hanako is there for her to celebrate her birthday, and I'm here helping her for shopping. It's a weird kind of symbiosis, I suppose. Are you alright, Hisao? Sorry? You just seem to go very quiet, that's all. Sorry, I was just thinking. Oh? Now I've piqued her curiosity. It feels kind of overly personal to talk about, though. Ooh, a choice. Let me put a save down. Well, I'm all for the truth. It was just kind of... I was thinking about how you seem to have everything so sorted out, even with Hanako relying on you. I can admit that even I kind of relied on you when I first transferred in. I think it's a good quality to have. I turned to Lilly, surveying her reaction. She's forcing herself to look forward and furrowing her brow quite a bit. Her face looks a bit awkward, as if she was trying to find just the right words. I had to make a call to the dental office. Oh, everything okay, my dear? Lilly? I would thank you, but assuming that I don't rely on the presence of others is too much. You'd be wrong to think that Hanako simply depends on me with nothing in return. She seems to have a bit of trouble saying it, even though it's largely what I'd thought already. Or to the dental office? Oh. Everything okay? If she's tried so hard to maintain her independence, as anyone would have had to in her position, decided or not, maybe she finds it hard to talk about her own needs. Guess my last claim might not have been so far. Okay. That's fair enough. Tell you in DMs? Okay. Oh. I need to double check that I've got it down on my calendar when my next appointment with my dentist is. I finally got it booked again. It's only now that I realise an omission of what she says, though. I decide to follow it up, largely in jest, to avoid things getting too personal. Oh? What about me? She suddenly runs ahead of me and turns, blocking me off. With a smile, she holds her hands behind her as she leans forward. Oh? Thank you for the follow, Sutero Midas. Welcome to the stream. You are different. And with that, she turns back and continues to walk ahead of me, a newfound spring in her step. All I can do is raise an eyebrow and give a dazed grin. I don't think I've ever seen this playful and teasing side of her before. So I'm different. It's hard to work out the exact content, perplexed, but knowing her, this ambiguity was intended. Oh, you love this game. Oh, okay. I suppose you'd know that you'd probably be one to speak on how well is it actually portrayed in the game. Because there's one thing I'm always curious about when I see depictions of disabilities in media is how accurate actually are these? No, because I know with autism, I know there's some of the portrayals of autism in media are really not great. Our relationship has been changing. At the very least, simply because I've begun to stand on my own feet more and started getting more curious about the situation of those around me. As to why, probably a mix of personal curiosity and I want to try and work out how to deal with my situation. I'm less sure of Lilly though. That's why her own statement, so similar to my own feelings towards her, throws me off so much. Watching her make her way up the street, cane tapping from left to right, I decide to settle the matter later and just smile. This is a nice side to her, and I don't want to forget it. It's kind of like it, but you don't see... Yeah, you don't see... Yeah, your vision doesn't go red, you don't have that warning sign. No. But I suppose there's... I suppose in the context of a visual novel, they have to do something maybe to... Because it's not like they can actually make you feel anything. Because would I be correct in guessing that in reality it's more you feel it than, seeing red? Eventually we get to the girls' dormitories, both my arms aching from the weight of 2 sets of groceries. We're finally here. Whew. I bend down to wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. Lilly stops in front of her door and sets down her bag, fishing around in her pocket for the key. Thank you, Hisao. I really appreciate your help. This is nothing. Just feel your heart pumping, sometimes get dizzy, but rarely. Oh well. I'm glad to hear it doesn't it doesn't get that bad for you. It might be nothing to you, but it's definitely something for me. And with that, she steps through her door, closing it behind her. I blink. Those were nothing but honest thanks, but I can't help feeling something different about them. Anyway, I have something else to do before I can mull on that at my leisure. Remember freaking out a little when your heart would beat fast one time you had anemia? Oh. I don't think I've ever had any worries with my heart. Even when I was on medication. Yeah. Happened after you gave blood, you were napping and suddenly bolted awake because of... Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound great. Does remind me though that I do need to get back into the habit of donating blood. I've kind of forgot to get back into it after it was temporarily shut down over COVID. I turn back to the door to Hanako's room and proceed to knock twice in quick succession, the bags in my hand rustling together. After a couple of seconds, the door slowly opens. If one weren't looking closely, they could be forgiven for thinking it hadn't moved at all. I twist my head to the side to try and peer through the tiny sliver of a gap between the door and the doorframe. Something's happened without you getting exhausted too, you don't have to run too much when you get it. Yeah, so there's a randomness to it. Hey Hanako, I've got your stuff. Ah. With that, she opens the door completely, making her plain room visible over her shoulder. sparsely decorated, it's probably even more unremarkable than my room. I hold out my right arm, both bags almost pulling it straight back down with their weight. Thank you, Hisao. I'm sorry to make you carry them all this way. It's fine, don't worry. Just don't make me do it every day, okay? I pass the bags to her as I give a light-hearted chuckle. After the initial transfer of weight, she manages to take them easily. I'll be off then. Night, Hanako. Good night. See you in class tomorrow. With a deep bow, her groceries still held in both hands, she steps back and shuts the door. Making my way back to my own dorm, I put one bag in my other hand to balance them out. Even as I do so, I can't get Lily's light-hearted smile out of my mind. When I'd first met her, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine her like that. Indeed, it feels like we've become closer in the past few weeks, since I first got to know both her and Hanako. The time that I spend with her each day, the small exchanges of happiness we share, those small moments of joy as I get closer to her. I'm far from certain, but I don't think these are just the normal feelings of friendship. Once I return to my room, I store away my groceries and begin getting ready for the night. Oh, the letter. I swapped the school books in my bag for those I'll need tomorrow, pulling out the yellow envelope Misha gave me earlier in the process. I got so sidetracked by one thing after another that I couldn't deal with it earlier. Who could have written me, I wonder? What would happen if you just got too exhausted? Or just... Yeah. So it was like basically anything that would influence your heart rate naturally. Yeah, looking at the time, I think that is going to have to be me for tonight. I kind of normally like waiting for the end of a scene, but yeah, I feel this might go on a bit. And it's probably something I want to save. Okay, we're still in a brief history of time. Because, yeah, the letter from Iwanago is probably... Yeah, that's probably a notable scene. Hisao catching the feels, yeah. Okay, I'm kind of liking that this feels a bit more... Like, this already feels more natural than Emi and Rin. I feel like Rin's definitely my favorite character, but I'm already feeling like this. I might probably be preferring the overall story and the flow of the arc in Lily's route here. But yeah, I need to get going. Need to get myself ready for the rest of my evening. But yeah, so there'll be no stream on Friday. Every time I get a repeat that. Search for this game on Twitch to watch. Oh, well. I'm glad I could be streaming it for you, Stero. I imagine it's a little awkward to find Katawa Shoujo because it's not actually there's no category for it on Twitch. So I just kind of have to put it in just chatting. But yeah, there'll be a stream early Saturday morning. Again, I'll be back with Mooney to continue our tour of Final Fantasy XIV, where we move into the locks of Garabania and have a wee look at the city of Alamigo itself. And yeah, that'll be me for the week. Next week will probably be the same schedule as this week, so Monday and Thursday will be Katawa Shoujo, Tuesday will be Monster Hunter Rise, and yep, Friday will be yet more Final Fantasy XIV. Links to my Discord are in both my YouTube and Twitch profile, so if you want to keep up with my stream schedules, you can find them there. And yeah, no other announcements really. I'll just say thank you so much for coming along. I do hope you enjoyed. And until the next time I see you, I hope you have a good day, have a good evening, and goodbye.